Hey there, geeks and geekettes. This is your friendly Madwoman here to bring you a review of the pilot to Batwoman on the CW. If you have yet to see the pilot, here is your one and only spoiler warning.
Spoilers.
I like that word.
I will be breaking down the episode bit by bit and pointing out what I liked, didn't like, and any plot holes I find along the way. I will not be comparing it to the comic, which I am still reading, so don't expect that to happen. I will be doing a comparison of the two in a later video. The next Batwoman related video will be about the comic, so let's get into this shit show. We first open with her in training. I tried to suspend my belief that she should at least have frostbite, let alone hypothermia in its starting stages, but the fact she's in as little clothing as possible diving into frigid water is something my common sense could not ignore. After she got out of this, again without freezing any extremities, she gets a phone call. During her training, the only hole in the ice is blocked, which causes her to have her first flashback. This sets up the fact she was in a car accident and loses her mom and sister. However, it also sets up something I could not believe: Batman getting a rescue wrong. Every fiber in my being was screaming, that's wrong, he wouldn't leave them, but he does, and the only survivor is our girl Kate, with a resentment of being abandoned by bats. After an exchange with her trainer, who doesn't seem fazed about her freezing, he hands her a phone and is told of something that just happened. What, you might add? We're getting to that. The way they backtrack time to set up for her return to Gotham is a bit jarring, to say the least. Enter the Crows, a paramilitary security group hired to police events. I can hear you asking, where the GCPD? You know, that's a good question. At the very same one, there is police presence at the event, but the Crows seem to be at the forefront and more important than the GCPD. Why would Gotham allow this to happen? I know, the GCPD are not squeaky clean and have corruption issues, but why would any law enforcement division of any city play backseat to a paramilitary security firm? Something stinks, and it isn't last week's leftovers. What event, you ask? Oh, that's right, I forgot to tell you the other unbelievable tidbit. Batman abandoned Gotham 3 years prior, and the event is a ceremony to permanently decommission the bat signal. You see the issue? I not only see an issue, but I also see a plot hole the size of Texas. We will get to that. I digress. Batman would never ditch Gotham. Meet Sophie. Who is she? You'll find out in a bit. Keep her in mind, though. This is stepmom, dad, and stepsis. Yes, they are rolling in the dough. So why did I show you Sophie? I'm getting to that. Meet Alice, the villain of our story, who cut down 2 trained police officers in order to crash the party. She is also the one who had Sophie kidnapped. I like the fact Alice is a new villain. I would have been sorely disappointed if they ripped off Batman's baddies for this show. Sophie is the reason why Kate comes back to Gotham early. It is when they are leaving the scene that Kate gets the call from her stepsister. Do you see the first problem I have with the storyboard? The show opens with our soon-to-be hero in training. She gets a phone call. The show essentially rewinds to tell you why she got the call. I think it would have been much easier to follow if they opened with the ceremony and then when the shit hit the fan, have the call happen, and then scene switch to Kate. This would have been a better way to introduce who would become our titular hero, but what do I know? I'm just a freelance fiction writer. This is another flashback, triggered by the phone call. Kate and Sophie stealing a kiss at the military academy. Why is this significant? This was placed during the don't ask, don't tell era of the military. So here is cringe plot number 2. Upon her return, she goes to her dad's HQ and they have an exchange. He asked her if she's kicked the vegan thing. Yes, they're trying to cover all the bases. This is where we find out she wants to help. Yay, exposition! They're telling us, not showing us, why she was training. She wants to work for her dad. This does establish the character as wanting to make a difference and help keep Gotham safe. But then we get this. You see the caption? He's basically telling her that she has a shot of making something out of herself, unlike Bruce. How in the living hell? I mean, Bruce is the CEO of a damn corporation, so that's nothing? I know he inherited it from his dad, but his dad would not have left Bruce in charge if he didn't think his son could handle it. It's just cringe. To her credit, she does say Bruce was there for her after the accident and her losing her sister and mom. There is that. Yay, another flashback. Oh, how I love flashbacks. Here, we see them stealing kisses again, but with one difference. They get caught. What happens? Well, for that, we get another flashback later on. We come back to the now, and a glaring inconsistency whether you have read the Batman comics or just watched the movies and cartoons. She goes to Wayne Tower to get a CCTV camera feed of the kidnapping. Why would Wayne Tower have eyes all over the city? How would she even know on the off chance that it did? She was a kid when she hung out with Bruce. How the hell would she know anything like this? It makes no sense to me. She breaks into Wayne Tower. I'll let the improbability of that one sink in. So, this is Wayne Enterprises. More specifically, Bruce's office. I have some issues with this scene. Everything is covered in dust and plastic, denoting the building has been closed for the 3 years Batman has been gone, and also Bruce Wayne. Why would a large, successful corporation just close because of the disappearance of their CEO? We know Wayne Corp has a board of directors. What did they do? Say, fuck it, and let the company go belly up? Here's poor Luke Fox. He's supposed to be security. Where's his uniform? Why does he only have a taser and handcuffs? Yes, I capped this so you can see I wasn't leaving out the fact Bruce hasn't been seen in almost 3 years. If Bruce and Batman disappeared at the same time, why hasn't Gotham made the connection that they are the same person? Have they all been enchanted by Clark Kent's magical glasses or some shit?
I'm Clark Kent. No, I'm Superman. Mild-mannered reporter. Superhero. Hello? Duh!
How dumb can an entire city be? There is security, if you can call it that. How the hell is there security in a building for a corporation that's defunct? There are boards and windows outside and graffiti on the building's face. Wouldn't security be on top of preventing that? Why have only one security guard? One is all you ever see. This whole building is a huge plot hole. I mean, what the fuck? Why in the ever-living fuck would you not change a password to a corporation's servers and computers in 3 years? Why? Why would Wayne Enterprises need CCTV footage of all of Gotham? Just a question. A welcome home party is thrown. Mom, who is ever the marketer, says only happy pictures should be posted. It's here the next big shindig is revealed. A movie in the park will be playing, and as you can see, they are driving the Bats hasn't been here for 3 years shtick into the ground. She sees a graduation picture of Sophie, and you guessed it, she has another flashback to the scene where they part ways. Why did Sophie lie to stay in the military academy? Are you sitting down? I don't have the luxury of being offended by that. I cringed so hard my underwear got sucked into my butt cheeks. You see, Kate comes from money and Sophie doesn't. They also want to drive home the white privilege card here. I think that is why they cast Sophie as a person of color. Do I have a problem with a lesbian couple? No, I do not. Do I have a problem with a mixed couple? Nope, no problem with that either. What I do have a problem with is automatically assuming all people of color are disadvantaged because they are people of color. I also noticed how they made her stepfamily Asian. That didn't escape me. This is the last flashback that Kate has with Sophie in it, denoting they didn't have contact with one another physically since. Let's be candid here for a second. How many stories have we seen where the protagonist cuts a trip or training short because someone they love is in danger? Luke Skywalker comes to mind. Can you list some too? Put those in the comments below. She gets out of the party and goes to her father with the flash drive. She's the only one that notices who's riding on the paddle. This can be taken 2 ways, seeing how she's the only female in the room. Number 1, she's just more observant than they are. Number 2, she's smarter at picking out details than ex-Special Forces people who happen to be men. I'll let you decide which one. The way this show is going, I am thinking the second one more than the first. This is where they figure out where Sophie is, a long-defunct orphanage. Now, normally and more realistically, you would defer to the more highly trained people to perform an extraction, right? Right.
Isn't that cute? But it's wrong!
Yep. While her dad is coordinating the teams for satellite surveillance, don't ask how they got that, I have no clue, and preparing for the mission, Kate goes to the orphanage by herself. How does she enter? Why, through the fucking front door! She just waltzes in without a care in the world instead of stealthing in after finding a good entry point. So, of course, you have the stereotypical thug in a mask sneak up behind her. Who choreographed this sloppy mess? Isn't she supposed to have gone through 3 years of training by now? This looks more like a damn bar fight than a fight between thugs and a trained individual. She has gone in with no gear, no knowledge of how many enemies there are, no clear and quiet point of entry. She doesn't sweep from room to room to make sure she can't be jumped. She's not cautious at all. She's just made her way into a place she remembers from childhood and expects to what? Walk in without problems? Oh yeah, she is clocked from behind. Where's that situational awareness, Kate? And here we go. Alice, who shouldn't know anything about Kate, tells her that her father doesn't want her. She also says her father shipped her off. How does she know this? We're getting to that. Okay, I will admit it, I like this part. Mainly because it shows us the stepsister isn't being portrayed as a shallow person because of her status. She's a med student operating an underground clinic. This is a nice touch. After all, they need a way for Kate to patch herself in the show without having to go to a doctor. And where's her dad? The orphanage, doing a sweep and realizing Kate has been there due to her leaving her motorcycle, but she isn't there when they arrive. You see where this is going? I already did. Your father doesn't want you. He shows up looking specifically for her. This will come back later. Here's the contrived father-daughter conflict. You see it? I left the captions on so you can see the exchange. Yep. He just finished saying he had people looking for her, and she accused him of not wanting her. This is so fucking forced, I can't stand it. Even though I can see both sides to this, this is still a blatant attempt to make the father look like he didn't give a shit about his last living blood relative. I hated this. She didn't even listen to his ass. Back at Wayne Tower, home of the Batcave. Wait! What? What's the Batcave doing there? It's not supposed to be there. It's supposed to be under Wayne Manor.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
Even she knows. Both Batman and Bruce pulled a fade 3 years ago, and she didn't even put it together. I swear these people in this city are stupid. Yay, another flashback. And then they try to walk it back and explain. But this just disrespects Batman even further. Batman would not have miscalculated that badly. He would not have left the scene of the accident until he knew the people inside were safe, and he most definitely would not let more family members die. The scene should not have happened because Batman would not have failed. This leads to a revelation by Kate of why Bruce became the Bat. I think I blocked this out of my mind because I didn't remember this from the show, but here it is. The suit is literal perfection. In context, she has rationalized what she needs to do to find her own way. Unfortunately, it means using Bruce's stuff. In order to do that effectively, the suit must be altered to fit a woman's frame. Having seen this in context, it's still cringeworthy, but more understandable. You can't expect a suit of armor tailored to fit a man to be worn by a woman without problems, so she needs it modified. She just did not need to say it like that. This cuts to the park and the public movie screening. This is where Alice unleashes her plan. Kate's dad has to make a decision. Save Sophie, who's about to fall to her death, or keep the explosives they somehow missed from exploding and save the people in the park. Gee, where have I seen that play out before? There was a bridge, a girl, and a bus in that movie. Can't quite put my finger on it, though. Here we have another fight scene. Good God, I can't believe I am saying this, but it would have been better if they had just clawed at one another and Kate tried to pull Alice's hair out. This is a horrible fight scene. They're fumbling more than fighting. Sophie is saved and Batcave is spotted leaving. Kate finds out Sophie's married to a guy. This wasn't necessary. They had already gone their separate ways. They didn't need to drive it home by doing this. Even after this, after he confessed to being overly protective and not wanting anything to happen to her, she still didn't think he wanted her around. This is just too much crap at this point. Oh, that's right. I told you I would explain how Alice knew all those things about Kate. Kate's sister didn't die in the crash. They are twins. Yep, they are playing the evil twin thing. In conclusion, things I didn't like. The writing was sloppy, the fight scenes were horrible, and some of the lines made me cringe so hard my dog got worried about me. They didn't display any of her training in action. They tried to make it seem as if her dad didn't give a shit when he clearly did. The cliffhanger is predictable. The music could have been better. Things I liked. The look of the city. The stepsister being a street doctor. The father actually being competent. I actually enjoy Maddow doing a noir-like voice-over radio personality. It fits pretty good into the show. Things I wish to see, the city be more than a backdrop. Gotham has always had a life of its own. It would be great to feel the city, as it were, not just see it in the background. They show her fighting skills. Kate taking her head out of her ass and realizing her dad cares, but I don't think that one's going to happen. In truth, if I wasn't watching this to review the episodes, I wouldn't give it the time of day. That's it for me. If you saw the plot, what did you think of it? Leave your questions and critiques in the comment section below. That's another video down, guys. If you liked it, that's what the thumbs up button is for. We don't like to mention the other button, but, I'll do this. If that subscribe button is red, feel free to watch more content to, decide finally that maybe you might want to turn it gray and hit the little button next to it that may or may not, notify you, depending on whether or not, YouTube is on its period or not, or it's PMSing. If you want to continue the conversation, that's what the comment section is for. And you can find any and all links to support the channel in the description. Until next time, guys, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and behave. But if you can't behave, be good at it.